Every time I feel the walls closing, you cover me and breathe life in me again. Lord, though I feel the darkness come, I will not fear. You ransom me with blood.
As we open up the book of Ruth, we take a look at the first 5 verses of chapter 1, and it sets the stage for the rest of the story. And what we see going on is that there's this man, Elimelech, who moves his family from Bethlehem to Moab because there's a famine. There's a food shortage in Israel. An important thing to realize is that God had promised Israel that this land is theirs and that he would provide for them. Some people say that by leaving his family's land in Bethlehem, Elimelech is acting unfaithfully because he isn't trusting God through the hard times. Now, the actual text in Ruth doesn't say this directly, but we do know that in general, when we step outside of God's designs and his promises, that things do not go as well as if we stay put, as we are about to see. So what happens is Elimelech dies, and she's left with her 2 sons. And her 2 sons take wives from the people of Moab. One was named Orpah, and the other is Ruth. There's our main character. And they dwelt there about 10 years. Now, Moab, where they went, they were in Bethlehem. There's a famine, but there's food in Moab. So they go to Moab, and Moab is descendants of Lot. Lot, who was Abraham's nephew, Abraham, the father of the Israelite people. So they're kind of distant relatives. The Israelites have been told not to marry foreigners or not to marry people who worship false gods. The general idea there is that you're not supposed to marry people outside of Israel. And it's not a racial thing. This is a religion thing. The New Testament tells us that we should not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. We should not partner ourselves with, we should not be connected with, joined with, in an intimate way, people who are not people of God. And it's simple, because if you attach yourself to people of another religion, you create conflict. This last Sunday, we were talking about worldviews and what a worldview is, and what you believe about God, about sin, about morality. This will affect everything else in your life. And if your other half has different beliefs, you get into trouble. They can pull you away from focusing on God. And so God is saying, stay religiously pure. Stay focused on God. Don't join yourself with people who draw you away from God. But then what happens? In verse 5, we see that both Mahlon and Chilion, Elimelech and Naomi's sons, die, and Naomi is left alone with her 2 daughters-in-law. Okay, so this tragic story serves as the prelude, the introduction to the larger story that's going on here in Ruth. Remember, last week we said that it helps understand the full story of what's going on. Well, here's the background. If this were a movie or a TV show, this would have been that part that happens before the credits. Elimelech is dead, Mahlon is dead, Chilion is dead. Naomi, Orpah, and Ruth are left alone. And that's no small thing. They can't just go down to Jack of all trades or fill out an application. They can't type up their resume and try to find some work. In that time, in that place, it was a man's world, and a woman relied on her male family members to care for her. Naomi is old. Her parents are long gone. Elimelech's parents are long gone. She has no sons left to care for her. And now she also has these 2 daughters-in-law. 3 widows in that time and place are in a pretty bad spot. However, as we will see, God has planned for his people to be cared for. Next week, we're going to see them return to Bethlehem, where among God's people in Israel, there are laws and traditions that are established to take care of the poor and of the widows. But for now, we have 3 widows left all alone. What started out as a way for Elimelech to better care for his family has turned into tragedy, and hope has been lost. A few weeks ago, we discussed why bad things happen. And the main reason is because we live in a broken and corrupt world. God made it perfect, but sin threw the harmony of creation out of sync. It's like we're off key trying to play in an orchestra. Why did this bad thing happen to Naomi? Why is God punishing them for leaving Israel and going to Moab? The text does not say that, so I don't think we should assume it. Sometimes bad things happen because the world is just messed up. But as we will see, God can use those bad things for a good purpose. Remember last week we talked about 4 places that we try to find hope and satisfaction in a better us, or in the praise of other people, or in worldly pleasures to satisfy and make us happy, or in religious activity as we try to earn the favor of God. But like we said, those things will disappoint us and let us down. When we put our hope in these things, we will be crushed when they do not deliver. But placing our hope in God can bring us the peace and the harmony that we desire. As we read through Ruth, we'll see that this tragedy was the start of what ends up being a huge blessing, not only for Naomi and Ruth, but for many others as well. Even when times seem hopeless, we can't see what God can. We don't know what God knows. Even if we don't get a reward or a blessing at the end, the best news is that we do get God. And He can carry us through any bad situation that we might face.
Every time I feel the walls closing, you cover me and breathe life in me again. Lord, though I feel the darkness come, I will not fear. You've ransomed me with blood.